So we're getting low on time, but I would be remiss if I didn't at least throw this other part at you, because I know that it's in terms of kind of more catchy things that product managers and product development involves. It talks a lot about user engagement. Talking about engaging users and like the quality. We talked a little bit about how people take ownership, or they really enjoy products, what makes them recommended or not. And so I would just like to talk to you a little bit about engagement, or have you talk to us about engagement and kind of stickiness and everything. So there's this concept of engagement in product development that's key to basically what they say makes a product great. Sarah Tavel, who's now general partner at Benchmark and the former product manager of search and recommendation at Pinterest, she said, "I think user engagement as the fuel powering products. The best products take that fuel and propel the product, and with it, the company forward." So my question to you in kind of thinking about that fuel or engagement is, how do product managers drive engagement and make users kind of stick, like make them keep coming back, I guess is often the term.
Okay, definitely. So I'll maybe connect this engagement idea to an idea that almost every startup or every founder fights with or struggles with when they first start off, and then as you move along, people also struggle with, is product market fit. And then I don't know if this concept really exists, but I would also talk about product market shift, that you found product market fit at a point, and then the market moves away, but your product stays the same. And so you start having this kind of product market shift, and things don't work together anymore. And so this, Sarah, the post she wrote, if anybody wants to find that, it's really interesting. And the hierarchy of engagement, I think it's called. And so she talks as part of engagement about this idea of a core action. And so when we talked earlier, and I'm starting to connect a few ideas here, when we talked earlier about Peter Drucker and that you need to create a customer, when we talk about creating customers, people often think about growth. We need to add more customers. We need to add more customers. We need to add more users and so on. But that's where it becomes a vanity metric, when you just focus on that and you forget about people doing the core action, or people doing the core action over and over again. Because if you don't have retention, or if you don't have people doing the core action, you'll just have this very inflated kind of hype for a moment where you think that everything is going well, and then a couple of months later you have to close down your company. And so that's why engagement becomes the fuel of product moving forward, because you don't only want people seeing your product or interested in your product, you want people doing the core action over and over again. You want them to connect with your particular product and be able to enjoy the product over time. So my first recommendation there is, understand that you have to really sit down and think about your business and about your product, and understand what the core value. Start with the why. Why are we doing this? And what is the value that people get from our product? So once you get that and you define your one core action, I know it's difficult, but usually almost every product has one core action, one thing that is really valuable for the user. And you start with that. And then you compare that particular value to everything else in terms of how many times people are doing this particular thing at a particular date and time, and then how many people come back and do the same thing over time. And so a great tool that you can use, which I've been trying to promote a lot in different settings, is cohort analysis. Because cohort analysis basically gives you, and you can divide it in different ways. Cohorts, you can define it in different ways. You can have it by date. You can also have it by different types of user segments and so on. But just starting with a simple date cohort analysis is a very useful tool, because basically on one side, if you look at these different dates and you compare the number of users doing the core action over time, that gives you an idea of growth in terms of people doing the core action, of how engaged they are when they first come to your product, And then on the other side, the cohort analysis gives you this week by week or month by month view of how many people are coming back to do that. And so you get a sense of the retention as well. And when you're able of understanding that you have growth of people, not only all people, but people doing your core action, and them doing it over and over and over again, that's when you start getting this real valuable engagement and people coming back to your product.
Perfect. Yeah, I like what you mentioned there about retention, because it's not just about doing the action once. It's about, how, again, sticky is it? Do they keep coming back? Do they keep doing that? How frequently do they keep coming back and doing it? Is there, and then there's a ton of other ways you can slice and dice it in terms of when they're doing it, or you have all kind of things there. So